Whoa, what's up, everybody? Sam in the building, chilling once again. Um, you know what I see a lot? I see a lot of independent women, black women in particular, and I mean this is just working at call centers, working at banks, bank firm. When you go to law offices and you go to different hospitals and clinics. You see these independent women, like I know RN nurses, I know a couple of attorneys who are single black women, and of course I know a lot of people who work for corporate America, all single mothers. Um, some of them are just straight up single with no kids, and the men that they choose to mate with. And this is not even like finding out later. This is on the fucking initial. This is, just meeting the guy straight up. These guys are fucking losers. Even the independent woman. Like, I know one girl, she's a doctor. And just so happened, I know a rapper as well. I know a famous rapper. Um, and I know this famous rapper's brother as well. So, me and his brother, we got down, we sat down, we got to talking and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I know this particular rapper, he didn't meet the girl, like before he blew up, before he became famous. This is some girl who was just a groupie, but just so happened she was she was a doctor at the time. So, he told me, he was like, yeah, nigga smashed it. He fucked. And I was like, what? Are you serious? He said, yeah, man, he be fucking all types of attorneys and doctors and lawyers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So for these women to be hollering about where all the good men at and all of that shit, I mean, you know what a good man at. You don't want these niggas. Because the reason why she chose this nigga to fuck with it because he's a superstar and he has the swag and all of that shit. You know, um, do they want to start relationships with these niggas? Some of them do. Yes, big time, big motherfucking time. You know why? Because they want a man that they can manipulate and change. Even when a guy is known to be a cheater, amongst other girls, and this one particular girl that he's fucking with, he could have dogged out. But then her girlfriends are sitting in the background like, yeah, I wish I could fuck with him. And I think I could change him. I think if he was fucking with me, he wouldn't be like that. You're not treating him right. You're not doing him right. Shit like that. You know? So, when I go to work, man, some of the baddest bitches in there, and you look at their pictures on their desk, they have, them and their kids for the most part. And then, you ask them, about the guy, like, yeah, they have my baby's father, he's a deadbeat. Or sometimes you'll go inside the recreational room or the break room, and you'll hear these females on the phone hollering at their baby daddies who at home playing the Xbox that they bought. These girls bought them the PlayStation, the Xbox, and they in there playing the shit with their homies and shit. And she's hollering at them, screaming at them because, shit ain't done right. The bills ain't being paid, like this nigga ain't doing what he's supposed to do. She's doing everything and all of that. You hear this shit a lot. You hear him on the phone in the break room cussing out some nigga, behind some shit that happened the previous night. You know? So that's my analysis of it, and I just I'm like, man, these fucking females are two sided as fuck when it comes down to that, man, because y'all know what type of niggas y'all fucking with. Don't sit here and act like you wanted to fuck around with some motherfucker that was on the verge of becoming a doctor. No, you know what I'm saying? You wanted a motherfucker who, was masculine and a motherfucker who was more confident about shit, more confident about his sex game and all of that shit. That's what you wanted. Otherwise, you'd be choosing the Carltons and shit like that. And, you can't sit here and lie and say that because, I mean, it's a vast majority of women that's out here. And when you look at their baby daddies are all fucked up. In and out of jail, got kids by other women, STDs, or these niggas is just like lost, or they're dead behind violence, and it's just all types of shit. So the productive men, they're like, fuck it, you know. And I understand that to the fullest, man. Productive men, um, yeah, I would feel the same way. Like, man, you gave all of your best years to these fucking thug ass niggas, and now all of a sudden you want to come fuck with me, you know. And it happens. I mean, I see it a lot because I get approached a lot by women who have kids, and who are um, they're trying to lose their ratchetness, but it hasn't really gone yet. The ratchetness is still there, and they're working on it, and you can see, but just like, no, I mean, you got too many issues, and just I don't want to fuck with it. I know this one guy, man. He's fairly old. It's like in his mid to late 50s, and like I said, he dates women who have kids and shit as well. Some of the kids are grown and they have their own homes, or they have their own families and shit, and he's content with that. Motherfucker like me, man, when I get that age, shit, I don't know, man. I would just find other things to keep myself happy than be worried about a relationship. And I know a lot of people talk about companionship. That's why I say a lot of motherfucking men, period, black men need hobbies. Find other things that's gonna keep you occupied and focus on that money. Serious shit. Because I mean, if you're gonna be MGTOW like that, because I mean, from my understanding of MGTOW, it's like no procreation, and women are wrong and all of that. Which you can blame a lot. Um, you can blame that on society. You blame that on the government and how shit has been moving for the past 25 to 30 years. Really more than that. A little more than that. But that, you can just blame it on that shit. Women have gotten to the point where, they want that control, especially a lot of black women. And they've been given the control. So when I see this type of shit, I usually avoid it, man. I know one guy. He's a black guy. He owns his own business, and he's up in age as well. He's like mid 50s to maybe, I don't know, early 60s. I don't think he is mid his 60s. I think he's in his 50s. I'm pretty sure he's like in his mid to late 50s. But I mean, he has his own business, and his wife is Asian. I believe she is from South Korea. You know, she has those Korean looking eyes. I never asked her where she was from. But, they've been married for about, 28 years now. Their oldest daughter is on her way to college. And, they have another daughter, it's about maybe 10, and a son that's like maybe 7 or 8. And, sometimes the son is inside of the store helping his mom. They have a nice family business, and they have a couple of shops throughout the city. So she understands feminism, and she doesn't like it. Like, she doesn't agree with it at all. She realizes that, yes, men, for the most part, are the people who are maintaining the society, maintaining the community. They are the builders. They are the janitors for the most part. So they're the builders and the cleaners. They're the ones that's cleaning the streets and shit like that. And she understands that there's certain things that men have to do in order for women to complete their duties. So she speaks down upon feminism. But a black woman, shit, hell no. I can't even talk to my mom about this type of shit. Because my mom was independent like that. My mom, she worked like 3 jobs. She worked in the hospital as a nurse. She worked in the clinic as a nurse, and in the nursing home. And she also did home health. She was making hellified paper. She bought a brand new house in the suburbs and bought she bought a brand new car and bought a brand new van the following year. you know. And and her husband at the time, my stepfather, was in and out of jail on drugs. You know, he would take the car, go out and do whatever he did. He had rock rentals and rock rentals is basically rock and ride. Like you loan out the car to let somebody ride the car a little while, let the drug dealer drive the car and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And he'll bring the car back and shit like that after he used the car for a little while. That's what rock rentals is. You know what I'm saying? For niggas who don't know, rock and ride. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, all kind of shit like that. I mean, even I was 15 years old. Like my mom would wake me up at night, and we would have to drive out, and I would have to drive home with the other car. You know what I'm saying? But I always wondered, like, why the fuck is she doing this shit? Because this nigga here, he was going to, working, making his money and shit like that. But his money was going out partying and drinking and doing whatever he did. Like, he didn't really contribute on the bills because, times when my mom kicked him out and he moved into his old raggedy ass motel room, she was still handling business. Actually, life was a little better and sweeter and more quieter when this motherfucker wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was just break up the makeup, all for the whole 17 years that they were together until he died. You know what I'm saying? It was just break up to make up, break up to make up, break up to make up. You know? So, and she was a strong, independent woman, strong, independent, single black woman. You dig? So, I see it, bruh. Motherfucker can't tell me that this shit don't exist. These bitches cannot tell me that, they don't have this controlling factor inside of them because it does exist. Definitely. Big time. You know? I mean, my mom, I used to think as a kid, like, wow, okay, so here we are, and, we just bought this brand new house. She just bought this brand new house. It was like 1994 when she bought the house, and we only stayed in the house for 4 years before we ended up having to move. And those 4 years meant a lot, man. But during those 4 years, she bought her a brand new car. It's like a Grand Am 90. It was like a '94 Grand Am, and then she turned around the next year and bought a van. She bought a Nissan Quest, like a '95 Nissan Quest, either a '95 or a '96 Nissan Quest. It was like, damn, man, what's up with my mom, man? Why is she doing this shit? 2 fucking car notes and a house note. But the reason why she did it, and it has to be one or two reasons, and I never asked her. I think I might have my mom on this show one day, and I might just ask her, and we'll have a conversation. And my two things is maybe she did it because she wanted to show everybody else in the family that, hey, I'm a strong, independent black woman. I can do this on my own house and 2 cars. Or, maybe she did it because the other car she may need it because she wanted to manipulate or, help out her man to become better. And then her man could have his own car. We can have the van to take and ride in, and he can have the car to take and, drive back and forth to work. Because, I mean, he was so fucked up. His license was so fucked up and all of that, because drinking and driving and accidents and shit like that with other cars that he had. Because I mean, I never seen him with a car on to himself since like the '80s when he had the Cadillac Brougham. I mean, during the whole '90s, he never had his own vehicle. My mom had her own vehicles, you know, like used cars that she bought, and then eventually the brand new cars and shit like that. And then she bought a Honda Accord, one of them box Honda Accords in like '97. Because they lost the cars in '96. So it's like '97 that shit happened, and then I'll get into the other stories and shit. Because by that time I had moved out of the house. I was gone by then, and I always wondered. She always hoped that he would get his shit together, get his life together, and That way, he can have a car to drive back and forth. But I mean, he was getting to work in the morning through like a carpool. Like there was one guy who would come and drive back there early in the morning, like 6 in the morning, and my step pops would just, yeah, he would be ready and he'd leave and go to work, get in the van with these guys and go to work, and he paid for gas and shit every week or whatever. Helped him out. And this one guy, he would just drive around and pick up different folks and then go to work like that. So my mom, never had to take and use her cars to do anything, you know. But my mom didn't choose a square guy or, at least a nice guy until after my step pops died. And then, they eventually got married and all of that shit. It was later on. Me, would I do that? Hell no. Would I marry a girl or a woman with that type of past? No, because during my early stages of life, I prepared myself for the type of woman that I wanted. Unfortunately, she wasn't there. So since she wasn't there, any woman that comes up, I'm not gonna take and accept her just because she got a pussy between her legs. I'm not gonna take and sit there and say, well, you know what, you are a beautiful woman, even though you do have these kids, or even though you told me that you used to fuck around when you was small, when you was a teenager and shit like that. I'm not going to take and say, oh well, yeah, let's have a relationship. And I heard one guy say, man, black women need to keep their business to themselves and shit. But a lot of these hoes be talking. They'll get to talking. I can usually spot it. I can just spot mannerisms. I can spot, the way you look and the way you carry yourself. I can tell if you're pretending or not. I'm good at it. I'm very, very good at it. It's a strong gift that I have. I can tell when you're faking. So these females, usually when I run into them, and I hate to be fucking females and not considering a relationship. I don't like that. I don't want that. But this is the shit that you got to deal with these fucking females, man. And I realized that. The good girls are gone. It's the older you get, the less they are out there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so the only thing that these bad girls can do is when they get older, like when they get over 30 and shit like that, the only thing that they can do is because they can't really go out like that. The kids are growing, or sometimes they just lose that attractiveness. So at that point, it's like they have no choice but to become more feminine so that they can at least have some type of companionship. And I mean, nigga like me, I'm not gonna go for it, man. I'm not going for it at all. I'm, like, if I gotta stay single for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be like Hugh Hefner. I'll be like Hugh Hefner, like one of the motherfuckers who's old, who got money, and I just keep some young bitches around. You know what I'm saying? Just for eye candy. I would do that. I would seriously do some shit like that, just so I can have something around me to look at. Am I gonna be a sugar daddy? I don't think so. Nah, I don't want to be nobody's sugar daddy. I don't want to be used by no females, and I don't want to be the type of guy that has more to offer in this independent age of women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've learned this shit since I was like 18, where women were talking about scrubs and talking about, I'm an independent girl, and I feel like they have every right to, have the same job as any other man, to be able to compete and all of that shit. But the cockiness that comes along with it, it's awful. It's sad. It's real sad. So, the thugs, like I say, I heard one guy say, the only guy that wants to stay around an independent woman and live up off of them is a guy who is a bum, who isn't a man to begin with. And he's absolutely correct. I could not be around a fucking woman with that much power. You dig? But I've seen it. I've seen it in my own household growing up. where mom makes the rules and shit, and the only thing Papa can do is say, "Oh, come on, man, it's gonna be all right. I promise I'll be," and then throw that dick on her, and everything is cool. Everything cool now until the next fuck up. So let me go ahead and get my Sunday morning started, and I'll holler at you guys later. Y'all be cool. Sam.